I help foot fixers put more tools in their toolkit so they can take their skills and expertise to the next level. It's all about confidently employing tried and tested strategies to get the clinical outcomes that your patients, your clients demand of you. I've been a health practitioner in private practice now for well over 30 years. As a business owner and operator, I've established multiple centres and mentored hundreds of practitioners in business. I've also had the great privilege of training foot fixers globally for over 22 years. And sometimes I feel every one of my 55 years of age. Okay, so this is where you get to come and say, oh no, Ted, you look so young. It's like fishing for compliments. Nothing? Okay, all right. Hey, look, while you were still in nappies, I was laughing at the idea that meditation could actually have a role in modern medicine. You know, I went to my GP recently and she recommended I take up meditation. How times have changed. Is it working? I'm relaxed. Anyway, now we've got this information superhighway and here we are reaching out to the global community of foot fixers. So if you're a podiatrist, physio, chiropractor, osteopath, physical therapist, remedial massage therapist, you're in the right place. In fact, you made the right decision to be here in today's show because we're going to discover strategies that I wish I'd known much earlier in my career. So for those of you who've just joined us, I'm Ted Jedynak, Red Ted or Red Ted Jed. Might be a bumper sticker. Anyway, thanks for joining me live here in my office for this very special edition of Triple T TV. Bradley, great to have you on board. All right, now, today's show, it's all about... No, sales pitch. It's actually coming at the end, the last couple of minutes. Just give a little bit of forewarning there. Today's show, though, is about this guy here, plantar heel pain. Probably one of the most frustrating conditions that we get faced with in our clinics on a regular basis. Look, no matter where I am in the world, I always get so many questions about plantar heel pain and how to fix it. It is a really hot topic, and today we're going to dive into it in this show. On my YouTube channel, there's one of the most popular videos that have appeared on there is a clip I did on a condition called plantar fasciitis. Plantar fasciitis, that's so last decade. Now, of course, we refer to it as plantar heel pain. Plantar fasciitis, plantar fasciosis, latest research tells us that the plantar fascia itself doesn't actually inflame, and hence that itis title. But anyway, we're going to dive into more details. The fact is, though, it proves that with the interest in plantar heel pains, that health practitioners all around the world are searching for the best tools in their toolkit to get plantar heel pains resolved as quickly as possible and as efficiently as possible. That's why I'm here today to talk about the game-changing assessment and treatment protocols that made helping heel pains easier than I ever thought possible. We've got a special guest here, Penny Lee. She's going to join us and probably have a bit of fun joining in too. Okay, so there's no doubt that plantar heel pain, it can be a tricky condition to cure. I should know, in the early years of my career, I found it tricky to fix because there were so many pieces of the puzzle that were missing from my education. Now, as good as some universities are, we just don't get all of the skills taught that we need. Now, when I left university, probably before you were born, I thought orthotics fixed everything. Well, they were the only tool in my toolkit, so I sure hope they fixed everything. Anyway, out in the real world, at the coalface of the clinic, I soon found that orthotics don't fix everything. And that's why it's so important to develop your skills and expertise so you can get the clinical outcomes that your patients pay you to deliver. If you're a practitioner who only utilizes orthotic therapy and isn't interested in developing your skill set, then this show isn't for you. But someone who is enjoying this show is going to just have a look into my glass of water here. This show is for practitioners who are open to new and different strategies. Is that you? You're open to new and different strategies? Oh, sounds just perfect. Okay, so today's topic is the 5 big balls-ups I've made when treating plantar heel pain and how you can avoid making the same mistakes. Look, make sure you get your pen and paper ready, or if you're digitally inclined, Evernote, whatever device you use, there are going to be some belly-popping moments coming your way. If you've got any, it's going to be an hour before I'm done with you. So, yes, I'm Ted Jedynak, and today I'm going to confess my biggest mistakes when it came to treating plantar heel pains. If I had $1 for every mistake I'd made in my career, I tell you, I'd be super rich. With plantar heel pains, I've had clients who responded satisfactorily to my treatments. I've had clients who didn't respond at all. Shit, I've even had clients who've gotten worse. And then, I suppose personally, the frustrations that I experienced when things didn't go according to plan, and I didn't really understand why that was the case. I've got to say, to be honest with you, I am pretty nervous about today's show because some of my mistakes I made in hindsight were so obvious, I guess would be a fair thing to say. Look, really revealing my mistakes and failures is not something I enjoy talking about particularly. I'd much rather sit here and tell you about the successes and the good times. And I had some massive holes in my education when it came to filling plantar heel pain, to treating those plantar heel pains. There were the missing pieces that were difficult to fill in. The road wasn't always easy to work out the answers to, because this is in the times before the interweb. So access to information was pretty challenging. So thank you for being here today as I talk openly about some pretty embarrassing moments in my career. Manuel, you would certainly know some of the embarrassing moments that I've had and maybe we've shared together. Hola, mi amigo. So I'm also going to chat about the crucial discoveries that I made along the way that were totally game-changing in terms of the clinical outcomes, not just for me, but also for my students all around the world, including Portugal and Brazil. You're going to leave today's show with at least 5 highly effective strategies that can improve your clinical outcomes with plantar heel pain cases. I'm going to reveal the mistakes that I made in my career with plantar heel pains so you can learn from them without having to go through the pain or the anguish or the awkwardness that those times that I went through. And please stay tuned, because we've got a never-to-be-repeated offer at the end of this show, and it's exclusively just for you Facebook viewers. Yep, I'm going to try and sell you an online course that'll save you a huge amount of time, energy, and cash. We reckon it's great value, and if you do too, jump on it. It'll be just in the last couple of minutes of the show, so that's coming up. Meanwhile, if this Triple T show doesn't fast-track your mastery of plantar heel pain cases, I'm going to eat my hat. Oh, actually, if I do put this on, it's probably going to mess up with the hair. No, this is true authentic hat. Not a typical Australian hat, certainly not typical of our region here, but otherwise it will be I'm not sure if it's a vegetarian meal, but it'll be something substantial. But I'm sure we're going to give you some great values today. So let's sink our teeth into this topic, which is going to shortcut your journey to the assessment, diagnosis, and treatment of plantar heel pain conditions by avoiding the 5 big blunders that I've made. So what is blunder number 1? I'm probably embarrassed to say this, but it's when I was in my university course, I had a doorbell ring. And isn't it remarkable when the world says, hey, I want to be part of Facebook Live, and can I join in? I'm not going to watch you online. I'm going to come straight in through the front door. Also, if you're hearing any background tradesman type noises, don't take offense. We've actually got a fencing contractor here doing some work. So and I can tell now, I'm hearing there, it's an online delivery. Lil, one of our great habits and pastimes is online shopping. So that's a delivery that's taken place there. Okay, so let me just recap. Blunder number 1 was the whole business of physiology, those subjects, physiology, histology, like all those ology subjects, I found pretty tough going. I mean, medical conditions were a bit of a mystery to me, and even though I loved anatomy and getting around all those cadavers, bit sick, huh? The fact is, there are still quite a number of medical conditions that have plantar heel pain as one of their clinical signs. I made the mistake of assuming that every client that I saw with plantar heel pain had a mechanical etiology. I don't know, either I was naive or just oblivious to the systemic conditions that can cause or contribute to plantar heel pains. For example, Reiter's syndrome. It's a rheumatic condition and it typically shows up in active male athletes who are under 40 years of age. I mean, who wouldn't assume that a 40-year-old who's active, weekend warrior, that had pain in their heel would most likely be mechanical in origin? That's what assumption I made. What about rheumatoid arthritis? Did you know that the foot is only second to the knee as far as the sites of rheumatoid arthritis coming up? I didn't know that. Good friend and colleague Simon Barthold, in his publication, Foot and Leg in Sport, had that revelation there. I thought, oh, okay, well, good to know. And then there's conditions like osteomyelitis, tuberculosis, seronegative arthropathies, and spinal conditions that can refer pain distally. This whole issue of systemic versus mechanical that can throw our diagnosis into quite a spin, can't it? So that was my big blunder number one, not investigating and differentiating systemic etiologies from mechanical etiologies. Okay, my next big mistake with plantar heel pain was not understanding the rehabilitation of soft tissues very well. It's another physiology thing. The classic scenario, when I identified certain muscles were weaker than they should be for a particular client situation, I jumped straight into strengthening them by prescribing strengthening exercises. I mean, it sounds like good clinical reasoning, isn't it? Muscles are weak, therefore you need to strengthen them. And so you use strengthening exercises. But if that's the rehab approach you're using, you run a very high risk of injuring those tissues because they're actually atrophied and weakened. This was exactly what I was doing when I was trying to use exercise to strengthen weak, damaged muscles. And you know what happened to my clinical outcomes? You can probably guess they weren't particularly good. Unfortunately, some cases actually got worse instead of better. And in hindsight, this was a common reason, that I was damaging already damaged vulnerable tissues by beginning with strengthening exercises. But when I discovered soft tissue rehab and the fundamental principle of needing to gently stretch weakened and fatigued tissues first, before you start strengthening them, that made all the differences to my clinical results, particularly with plantar heel pains. Beginning with stretching exercises and then moving to strengthening made a huge difference. And then there's the third phase. The third phase of soft tissue rehab, which is to stabilize. So stretch, then strengthen, then stabilize. And you've got to do it in that order. Brilliantly summarized and referenced and explained in Thomas Michaud's great book, Foot Orthoses and Other Forms of Conservative Foot Care. So there you have it. Big blunder number 2, not appreciating the 3 phases of soft tissue rehabilitation. Stretch, strengthen, and stabilize in that order. Jackie, Stephen, glad to have you on board. My first 2 mistakes have been revealed, but here comes my third one. If I ask you to define true healing, how would you do that? Like, what would you say is true healing? If you want to type in your answers, go for it. You see, in the past, I thought true healing had something to do with symptomatic relief or restoration of function. And when I asked my question asked this question in my FMT workshops, I often get a lot of puzzled looks and people hesitant to ask. And then practitioners will typically say that it has something to do with symptomatic relief and return to desired outcomes. Understanding what true healing was completely transformed my approach. It also transformed my expectations and the education of my clients about the proposed treatment plans. So that's why I bring up this blunder of not appreciating what true healing is. It was a number of years ago, I was imbibing on some fine Barossa red wine. We're famous for our Barossa wines here in South Australia, and nationally people know of very good quality of our red Shiraz. Anyway, sharing a good bottle of Shiraz with some chiropractic mates. Jeez, well, that's just a perfect storm brewing right there, isn't it? Anyway, so in our discussions, this topic of true healing came up. I've got to say, I can't remember pretty much what happened with that evening, but I do remember the conclusion that I came to about the definition of true healing, and it was this. True healing is when the old damaged cells are replaced with new healthy cells. If you only take one thing from today's show, this is a key thing. I'd write it down right now if I was you. True healing is when the old damaged cells are replaced with new healthy cells. Make sense? I mean, our body's cells are turning over all the time. Different tissues turn over at different rates. Our stomach lining, particularly when you're having some fine red Shiraz, the stomach lining will replace its lining every 7 days. Skeletal muscle tissue, not there's much here to show you, but skeletal muscle takes around 10 to 12 days to turn over. Collagenous tissues, ligaments, tendons, fascia, particularly the plantar fascia, takes around 6 weeks to turn over. And this was confirmed in the studies that were done in Scandinavia. Kjær, Magnuson et al. Got some references here to share with you. They injected radioisotopes, and they were able to physically and accurately measure the turnover of old damaged cells in collagenous tissues. And that's where the 6 weeks time frame comes from. This understanding absolutely transformed my approach and how I would educate clients about my proposed treatment plans. Because I'd let them know true healing is when this the old cells are replaced with new healthy cells. It's not just symptomatic relief. And that typically takes around 6 weeks in these type of tissues. Like, it gives you a position to educate and predict the future reasonably comfortably without people always wanting to be fixed yesterday. Okay, so let's recap. So far we've heard me confess about my poor understanding of the relationship of systemic conditions and what they contribute to plantar heel pains. I also told you about my poor physiological understanding of the soft tissue rehabilitation process. And then I revealed my lack of appreciation of the definition of true healing. Jeez, it's amazing how it helped any bloody plantar heel cases, isn't it? But wait, it gets worse. There was another missing piece in my education, and this about the plantar heel pain rehabilitation, that was appreciating the value of high load strengthening. Buongiorno, Brenton Bertolicio. Allora. So, another good friend, apart from Brent, is our recognised international sports medicine expert and guru, Simon Bartol. He included Ratliff's high load strengthening exercise in his, so it's a high load strengthening exercise for plantar fasciitis and plantar heel pain. He included that article in his top 10 articles for the whole of 2014. What? Aren't we taught all of those, stretching exercises for plantar heel pain? The Di Giovanni stretch through the foot, the calf stretching. Like, we've got to release all of those tight tissues. Why was strengthening now bumped up the list as far as having a measurable effect on the speed and recovery of plantar heel pains? Well, the evidence is in. Rathliff's study, 48 subjects, it passes the study of reliability and validity for us to confidently say high load strengthening is in, after you have done the first phase of soft tissue recovery, of stretching those damaged and fatigued tissues. Now, this strengthening exercise, it's a beauty. It works gangbusters. But there are some key rookie mistakes to watch out for to make sure you get this exercise right. But when you do, it's almost miraculous. Okay, so we've got stretching, strengthening happening. But what about my fifth big blunder with plantar heel pain? You know what it was? It was not using a structured, evidence-based treatment plan of exercises using those 3 phases of soft tissue rehab. Rather, I'd kind of, prescribe one exercise. If it wasn't working, then I'd change to something else and kind of hope that that would do the trick. You see, once you understand that you must work with Mother Nature and go through those 3 phases of soft tissue rehab, you've got to carefully consider the time frames of true healing. It then becomes a bit of a BFO. It's a blinding flash of the obvious. So it becomes a BFO that you need to be organized with what exercises you use and when you introduce them. Make sense? Duh. I don't know, it might not be the sharpest tool in the shed, but it took me a bit of time to get my head around that idea. So no doubt I had some substantial shortcomings in my clinical skill set when it came to treating plantar heel pains. And that really was due to these 5 big blunders which I've revealed. So to summarize, number 1, not adequately differentiating systemic from mechanical etiologies. Number 2 was not understanding soft tissue rehabilitation. Number 3 was not appreciating true healing. Number 4 was not realizing the value of high load strengthening. And number 5, that was not using organized exercise plans for incorporating the 3 phases of soft tissue rehabilitation. Look, I could honestly say I felt rather incompetent, inadequate, sometimes just plain useless because of these gaps in my education. My mission now is to help fill in those gaps that you might have in your education. And that's why we created the online Ultimate Plantar Heel Pain Mastery module. So here comes the sales pitch that I promised you. We want to offer you this mastery module to you because it will make your clinical life easier. This online course has been our most popular online course that your colleagues have loved. In this online module, we've put together everything you need to accurately assess, diagnose, and treat plantar heel pains. Because it's all online, you have access to the information anytime you need to. It's yours forever. Any updates, any new information or evidence that comes in will get automatically updated, and it's all included. The Plantar Heel Pain Mastery module contains a detailed differential diagnosis checklist so that you can confidently determine if your client's plantar heel pain etiology is systemic or mechanical. It'll ensure your diagnosis is spot on. In the heel pain module, you'll also receive a full lesson on the 3 phases of soft tissue rehabilitation, so you can confidently map out the recovery plan for your client. You'll be crystal clear on this essential step. You'll also receive the detailed lesson on true healing, and including all the references. This is so that you can be completely confident you'll be working from an evidence-based basis. Plus, you'll receive the full lowdown. And this is the lowdown on Rathliff's high load strengthening study. It includes the full article as well as a summary of the key points, which the criteria for the 48 selected subjects. There's the high load exercise is actually described. The key requirement meaning the rookie mistakes to avoid for the correct exercise execution. That's all in there. The CIs, the Ps, the FFI factors, all of that stat stuff, if you're into that data, that's all included, as well as the author's concise summary of the results. To make your life even easier, we've also included the limited edition links for the video demo of the Rathloff high load strengthening exercise. So you can be totally clear, see exactly how it's done, and avoid those classic rookie mistakes. We also give you the exercise handout. So it's a handout that you can literally copy and adapt for your clients, putting the what the exercise is, why you need to do it, and how you do it, all clearly mapped out there for you. You got it all ready at your disposal and usage. Plus, we also, that's in a Microsoft Word format. That way you can edit, change it if you like, put in your own clinic details in there, and customize it for your own personal needs. The Ultimate Plantar Heel Pain Mastery module also includes the structured exercise plan that we've been using now for 15 years, before we incorporated Rathloff's exercise with that. But this is fully integrating the 3 phases of soft tissue rehabilitation. And so this is a copy of it here. What you'll see is literally what you do in week 1, week 2, week 3. It's incorporating if you're prescribing orthoses for your plantar heel pains, which exercise to do, when to do it, and then also over here you've got which phase, stretch, strengthen, and stabilize phase. All mapped out for you. So it's a roadmap that you can follow. You can adapt and modify as you need on a case-by-case basis, but you've got the foundation or the framework sitting there all mapped out for you. The online mastery module also includes comprehensive content to take your skills to the next level. The module fills in all the missing pieces of the plantar heel pain puzzle. It's what I wished I had when I was getting undesirable outcomes in my clinic. Would have made a world of difference. This module would have saved me time, energy, blood, sweat, and a lot of tears. Hey, to make your life even easier, I've included a fabulous bonus into this excellent module. It's exclusive for the Facebook viewers. This bonus includes the structured exercise plans that we use for rigid cavus feet. How are you supposed to work with those? How are you supposed to release some of those restrictions? That'll tell you how. We've also got the exercise plan for first MP joint problems, hallux limitus, the HAV conditions, the whole 3 phases over 6 weeks, what you need to do, when you need to do it. We've also got the exercise on mid-tarsal osteoarthritis. What can you do for those people apart from just giving them anti-inflammatory medication? And also the references that I referred to, the Scandinavian references, got them all lined up here as well. Micah Spikers, he'll tell you just how effective these exercises plans are too. Good to see you on board there, Mike. Okay, so you could spend hours surfing through YouTube clips, reference articles, trying to figure all this stuff out. Then you'll need to work out how do you incorporate it into your clinic. Don't sweat it. We got it all done for you. The retail fee for the online plantar heel pain module is $238. Now, I'm not going to charge you $238. But if I did, would it be worth it to have a surefire clinical differential diagnosis method for your plantar heel pain cases? If all this online mastery module did was help you easily diagnose and treat every plantar heel pain case that came to see you, would it be worth it? Imagine this, a totally mapped out step-by-step guide for assessing, diagnosing and treating plantar heel pains, and you could do that confidently and with ease. What would that be worth to you? You've seen how it's worth $238. Heck, even at $150, which is what we've been selling it for in our workshops, it's a great deal. But because of the end of financial year madness that's going on here in Australia, and the fact that you're still here proves to me that you want to help more heel pains more quickly. So we're going to give you a very special Facebook offer. It'll save you a heap of cash. It's going to save you $171. You can have the whole online Plantar Heel Pain Mastery module for just $67. And better news, once you purchase the module, it's yours forever. You can access the module whenever you like, however many times you like. It's there to refer to in the comfort of your home or in the convenience of your clinic. All you have to do is click the link in the comment box below this video, and it should be the top comment. It'll take you straight to the sales page. Now, to get this exclusive saving of $171, you've got to enter in a code. This is the code. PHB, so it's for Plantar Heel Pain, FB for Facebook, deal, pardon me. So PHP, FB, deal. Now, we had an overwhelming response with our cuboid cures yesterday, and we did get some feedback though, and that is, where do I enter the code? All right, so this is what the online page looks like when you get to the sales page. You enter your details down here, but down the bottom, this is where you enter the code into this box right here. Now, you have to press play over here, but this is not quite as obvious. So enter the code where it says enter the code. Sorry, I had to be a little bit facetious, but I understand it's below the fold and hard to see. That's where you enter the code. It will automatically change the price to $67, and then you can click submit with your payment goes. So now you have two choices. One, you could go it alone, and if you're going to go it alone, be prepared to spend hours sifting through a lot of useless information that's out there on the interweb. And then it's tricky to know what works and what doesn't. How do you sort the wheat from the chaff? Or you can take a leap of faith. Give it a shot with the tried and tested strategies that have worked not only for me and my clinics, but also students around the world. All you need to do is invest less than the price of a single consult, and then you get to check it all out. The good news is we have a 100% money-back guarantee. If you try everything out and you can't assess, diagnose, and help more plantar heel pains, then we'll give you your money back, no worries. Crikey, all you have to do is help one single extra person with plantar heel pains, and you've got your money's worth. I can't imagine a better deal than that. But be quick, this exclusive offer will end. It's a Facebook deal that ends at the end of this financial year here in Australia, which is this Friday, midnight, June 30th. After June 30th, the retail price of $238, that will apply. At the end of this Facebook Live show, we'll put a link onto the sales page in the topic in the title above my head. So it'll be sitting up here if you're looking at a replay of this video. Oh yeah, there it is right now. Okay, so this is an exclusive, never to be repeated deal that will expire midnight, June 30th. So jump on this end of financial year deal and say goodbye to those frustrating plantar heel pain cases once and for all. I really look forward to hearing about your plantar heel pain successes. So take your skills to the next level and click the link above my head or below this video in the comments box. This exclusive Facebook deal will save you time, energy, and a heap of cash, guaranteed. Thanks for joining me today on this show. I trust it's been useful to you. Until next time, jump on the Ultimate Plantar Heel Pain Mastery module, turn your clients into raving fans, and fix more heels today.